Good afternoon and welcome to Clarity TV. My name is Barbara Gray from the UK and this is our dear friend Paul Church.
Good afternoon, everybody.
And this marks a very special occasion today, so I'm glad to have your company.
It does. 10 years.
10 years of Groovi doesn't seem possible.
It doesn't.
So normally the Sunday show is always reserved for stamps.
Have got stamps?
We have got stamps.
We have.
But we decided to commemorate and to celebrate 10 years of the parchment system that we developed 10 years ago. We would have a celebration and start it today.
We do. So 10 years.
10 years.
10 days and 10% discount on all things Groovi and Pergamano.
That's great.
But this is the exciting part. We've got a brand new size.
We do.
We do. And it's called
the midi plate.
Now, who came up with this idea?
Yeah,
who always comes up with the ideas? I mean, that's, I think, why shows why Clarity is over 33 years old as well.
Because I'm still going.
But if he wasn't still going, then we wouldn't be celebrating 10 years. We wouldn't be celebrating 33 years.
That's right. So, but 10 years of Groovi, and what we decided to do, well, the royal we thought it'd be a good idea if we picked a plate in the middle. So if I show you what the midi size actually means, then you'll get it. Right, so let me just come over into this, let me take my tea out of the way. Come on in, friends. So you can see, so those are the two standard plates that we usually have.
Yes.
This is what we call A5 square.
Yeah.
The reason is if you take a piece of A5 paper and you square it up, that's how you end up with an A5. That's why it's called A5 square.
Yes.
Then we've got what we call the baby plate or A6 square.
Yeah.
So the A6 square is when you take a piece of A6 paper and then you square it up.
Yeah.
So that's A5 square, A6 square. So the thing about these sizes, these are the ones that come in the starter kit.
Yeah.
But the thing is that the midi plate, there's something missing here. If I move that one over and I pop that one in, you'll see that this is the midi plate. And you can see now that there is a definite difference.
And there's also
a big difference, actually.
There's also a midi price as well. Because
exactly.
A5 square are £9.99. Baby A6 square are £6.50. And the midi is in the middle, £8.50.
£8.50.
Yeah.
So that's considerable. What I love about this particular size now, this is so cool because of course you can use all the tools, all the accessories, everything else around this midi plate, but it's a little bit smaller, a little bit more achievable. The finished artwork is a little bit more petite as well, but you're not losing any of the detail that you get on the larger plates.
Absolutely not. I mean, we've had A4 square plates in the past as well, where you've got to make a really big card as well.
Well, and there is an A4 square plate to go with this, which is the
new plate mate,
which is fantastic.
I mean, talk about coming with a bang for 10 years of Groovi.
Yeah.
I'll bring the details up on the screen. So I know many of you have already found it and you've been shopping ahead, but there's a lot more exciting things going on as well over the next 10 days. So if I just bring up the details of this brand new collection, the item number, it's got a nice round number, 42500. This is the French lace midi Groovi and platemate collection with A5 parchment as well.
Designed by none other than our Jazz.
Absolutely.
Really glorious.
So when you see it, we'll bring up some we'll have a look in a little bit more detail. So normally this is £62.99. You've got your £10 saving, which is part of the anniversary celebration. 10% saving. Part of the, it's all these tens. Gives you a £6.30 saving, bringing it down to £56.69. However, if you're in our clubs, you then get your additional 10, 12.5 or 15%. So a Groovi club member.
Yeah, go on.
A Groovi club member, if you're a Diamond Club member, that brings it down to £48.19. Now, over the course of the 10 days, we're also giving away golden tickets, aren't we?
We are. But I wanted to mention the double points.
Yep, double points on the screen. You can see there. So any new releases, and there's going to be 3 over the 10-day period, 1 today, 1 later in the week, and 1 next week. Yeah. Really exciting on that. there's double points, and you'll get double points from the date of release. So for this collection, if you buy it within the next 10 days, then you get double points, and they will be added afterwards. I'll be doing that as a manual process. So if you buy the collection, you buy the individual plates, anything, and we've also put it on the brand new stamp set as well. We're launching today, even though it's not Groovi, and on the tops and tags.
Yeah.
And where did it all start? It started with the starter kit.
Yes.
So I've also put double points on the starter kit. So if you're tuning in and thinking, what's this all Groovi about? Then the starter kit, it's a really good price, and you've got double points as well.
And also, we'll talk more about the starter kit as we start demonstrating. But I just want to say that, you know, just because you're a stamper, there'll be a lot of people who are stampers watching us today, because Sunday's always a stamping show. Just because you're a stamper, that doesn't mean that precludes you from doing any parchment.
No.
You know, and quite the opposite, actually. When we started the Groovi system, a lot of our stamping friends, they embraced it immediately, like Jane Telford, people that are now masters of the art. They didn't actually start parchment art until we started the Groovi plates.
No.
But what's really interesting, over the last few months, I've noticed that the absolute staunch mixed media ladies, staunch stampers like Sheila Metzler, I'm just looking at the design team people, Sarah Brennan. I've noticed that those ladies now have invested in the starter kit. They've started their Groovi parchment journey. And I think that's so so important to note, that don't just sit there and say, oh no, I'm a stamper, I'm not a parcher, because there are so many benefits beyond producing beautiful artwork to the art of, well, the Groovi art of parchment.
There is. And it is, I mean, we found from it over the past 10 years, the Groovi system has opened it up to a larger audience of all ages.
It's made it so achievable.
It really has. And if you go back and read Barb's blog, I'm sure Grace will pop a link up to the blog from yesterday. Just go spend some time and read those comments, and you'll see exactly what Barb said. Jane Telford, people that were a stamper. I was a stamper at the beginning.
So was I.
And it's all about the Groovi, and it is that just relaxing time.
I find it more and more, and now circling back to this MIDI plate, it takes less time. You know, one of my things is that I lack the time, not the patience, but the time. And so once the plate is smaller, there's less time, there's less area, there's less space.
Not as overwhelming, maybe.
It's not as overwhelming, you know, and for me, I do get anxious. I don't know what's going on, but I get a lot of anxiety nowadays. And I find, like most things, but especially with Groovi, when I get in that groove, it just calms me down.
It's weird.
It's so strange.
It really, really
just
is.
To take a piece of parchment and a plate and the tool. And the thing is, when you finish, you've got a lovely piece of artwork to show for it too.
So easily as well.
Let's have a look, though, at this beautiful French lace collection, because I think what it does is it really drives home the fact that although these plates are smaller, and it does make a difference, they don't lose any of the intricacy of the A5 square plates.
Absolutely not. I mean, you can take bits of it like all Groovi plates you can. You can go smaller, you can go larger. I mean, that is the beauty of it.
Shall we have a look?
Yeah. So should we start with the plate mate?
Well, let's start with the, well, yes, okay. If you want to start with the plate mate.
Start with the plate mate to show. So there, if I give you the artwork, then you can have a look at the artwork.
Let's have a look at the plate mate then. So if we look at the plate mate, this is absolutely a phenomenal piece of kit.
If I bring the actual plate itself, and you can see.
Yeah, you can see here. So the whole idea is, of course, that there are 5 plates. 4 plates plus the one that comes in the center.
That's right.
So you've got 5 of these beautiful French lace plates. And then what Jazz has done, she's created a plate mate, which is the key, really. It's the linchpin.
It is, yes.
And when you actually look at the number for framing, you know, this is absolutely spectacular. If I just come in a little bit closer on this plate, you can see there the number of borders are quite spectacular. So, of course, this is available individually, and it comes with this particular French lace plate in the center, which You can see the gorgeous artwork. Huge shout out on this special occasion to the design team, because without them, we wouldn't be able to show you. I mean, it's one thing to design a plate. It's another thing to take that plate and then turn it into a masterpiece. This is Josie Davison. Yeah, that's Josie. But you can see here, beautiful grid work panel in the background. Louise Goldin, gorgeous, you know, mixing and matching. We've got Glynis Whitehead, and here we've got Jill Askham. Gorgeous, gorgeous artwork.
So you can take all your sort of your basic skills that you've learned and then create your piece of artwork and then introduce your other elements from your white work to your colouring, if you choose to.
Of course, but it takes you on your journey. So as you're learning, if you're, let's say, for example, today you're listening to me and you're thinking, oh, I've been sitting on the fence about parchment for a while now. Well, I would say that today's a good day to make that commitment, because these MIDI plates are just the perfect size to get started.
They really are.
And as far as the starter kit goes, okay, even though the starter kit is built around the A5 square, the larger plates, all the plates in that starter kit are what I consider to be essentials.
Yeah, definitely. There's so many different elements on them, from your basic nested squares in there. You've got your tools, your tumble dry. There is so much in there. When you look at Barb's blog later after we finished, and you see how the starter kit started,
how it has evolved,
how it's evolved, and the value now.
Maybe we can take a look at it later.
Yeah, definitely.
But you can see here. So this now, for example, this is what we call the plate mate.
Yes.
So it houses that's the plate mate, and it houses the plates as they come now. So it means that when I'm working, I've got something to attach. Thing is, like Jazz has created so many, we were trying to count them this morning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are so many. I think I stopped at 14.
Yeah.
How many different frame,
and that's just taking them how they've been designed without breaking
them down further or mixing and matching them.
Yeah.
So this is a beautiful French lace plate mate.
It is indeed.
And it's built specifically for the new MIDI size.
Brand new MIDI size, yes.
So Paul, do you want to have a look at the other plates?
So they've all got lovely names to them, obviously French lace. So everything is available individually as well. So if I'll swap out on this one.
Let me take a black mat. I was going to take a. Oh yeah, we don't need a black mat, do we?
So I'll take them, swap those out.
Okay.
So this is your first plate. So this is Antoinette.
So Antoinette, she's a MIDI plate, and she sits beautifully
in the plate
inside the plate mate.
So if I take that like that, you can see
that's exactly how it comes, which is glorious. But I would say that the bundle is really the way to go.
It really is. So the item number for that is 42500. You get double points on there as well. And also as part of the celebrations, we're giving away golden tickets.
Oh yeah. Tell us about the golden tickets while I do this.
Yeah, you do the gallery and I'll do some talking.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you spend £50 or more during a 24-hour period, you'll have free entry into the golden ticket draw.
How much you have to spend?
£50 or more.
Okay.
So, for example, if you've been spending since midnight last night up until midnight this evening, over £50, then you'll automatically be entered into the golden ticket draw.
Oh, look at that one.
Now, what is the golden ticket for? The golden, I know, it's amazing, is it? The artwork.
Yeah.
So the golden ticket is for you to take part in one of our 1, 2, 3 Groovi Pergamano courses, either past or future.
So let me get this right then.
Yeah.
You're gonna announce a winner every day for 10 days.
Yep, for the following day.
There are 10 golden tickets.
Yeah.
It's to the value of £60.
Yeah.
Right. And they have to spend £50 after all their discounts.
Yes.
And then they'll be entered into this
prize draw.
And
then at 10 o'clock the following day.
So that's like a coupon to redeem against any of our 1, 2, 3 courses.
Yes. So you can go back, and if you didn't do any of the ones previously, or you can put your name for the ones that are coming up as well.
So if, for example, you're starting out,
foundation course.
Foundation course.
Definitely.
If you've done the
£60.
foundation course and the white work course,
yeah,
then you sign
got
up
a
for the
free
one
ticket.
that's coming, free ticket for the next one.
Exactly.
Nice.
So we'll be announcing that on our Facebook pages. So make sure you subscribe to all of our Facebook pages as well, because we're also doing a daily question as well, aren't we?
Yeah, you
it's
are.
All
I'm
about
on holiday.
It's all about spreading the love and spreading the word of all things groovy. So they'll be posted at 8 o'clock every morning. So please take
Whereabouts?
part on claritycraft.com Facebook page, on Groovi Worldwide, on Pergamano Worldwide, and also on Clarity World. So it's all of our social pages.
Excellent. I think what we want, what the object of the exercise is to encourage you to post your favorite work, your best work, what you love about, what you love about Groovi,
how you got started,
etc. And so Paul is going to post a question
a day,
and then it would be lovely if you answered it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I know many of you will, because I know you love taking part and sharing.
So that beautiful, while I was showing you, you see that was the Antoinette plate.
It was.
Next up
is Delphine.
Delphine.
Did you and Jazz come up with these names?
Yeah, we did. We did. Did it just get warm in here?
It's got really warm in here. Shall I open that window again?
I'm gonna go and do it myself. Karen Jackson, check this out. I mean, look at this artwork.
Those frames from the PlateMate.
Yeah, it is. So if you take the PlateMate, and you can see exactly, it's that one there, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's difficult to see it. There it is.
There it is. I'll do it that way.
So you can see that's this plate here, isn't it?
So although it's a corner, it can become a square, a rectangle.
So that's the PlateMate in conjunction with the actual plate as it comes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Delphine. I love this one.
Lovely.
Yeah. There it is again.
Doesn't it look different?
Yeah, and that's using our rub-ons. Doesn't that look classy? Jane Telford. Look at the cutting.
I know.
See, that's the thing, right? I've got to say, I mean, this is just embossed as it comes.
Yeah.
So when I say you get on the parchment journey, on the Groovi journey.
The Groovi bus, you call it.
I call it the bus. Yeah. And as you go along, it depends entirely. If you're a complete beginner, then you just focus on colouring, maybe a little bit of white work. Don't worry about the cutting.
No.
The cutting will come.
Yeah.
You don't
it's
have
a confidence builder, isn't it, with the Groovi system?
Very, very good. And I think this kind of modular system that we've developed and that's evolved over the last decade, it really is that it's so achievable and so easy, and you take it at your own pace.
We've always said the Groovi system, if you can hold a pen, you can use the system. And because it gives you the confidence to create that beautiful, crisp line art, which was always a struggle for many, myself included, then it gives you the confidence, doesn't it?
And the thing is that it's the line art, the outline of the design is the absolute first step.
It's like stamping, isn't it?
Yeah.
You need top quality stamps, a good
lovely
ink pad.
Images, and then the rest you can just build as you go. So this is Delphine. Aren't these gorgeous? You see now, this is what I'm talking about. You can be super intricate and cut like Jane has. You can go with Hazel Edwards. I love this. No cutting. No cutting. She's taken exactly the same plate.
Just the frame of it, isn't it?
But look how beautiful that looks.
And this pattern is on the PlateMate as well.
So it just goes to show you, Carol. So she's combined cutting and, see, I love that kind of perforating.
Yeah.
And then this one is insane, Carol Baker.
Wow.
Look at that.
This is also, look, this is on the PlateMate as well.
Yeah. And that is on the PlateMate.
It is, yeah.
So if we check it out, there it is. Look, this piece here. So it's literally as it comes.
I don't think Jazz could have got any more onto that PlateMate.
Look at this. Talk about value for money.
I know.
Yeah, mad. And then again, we've got one here by Glynis, Master Parcher, absolutely spectacular. And she's done a little bit of white work. She's created really lovely colour ombre in the back. Isn't that lovely? But no intricate cutting like that.
No.
So it just goes to show you, just because you're advanced, let's say, like Glynis is, that doesn't mean you have to put yourself through all the paces on every piece of artwork. No. It's not like that, is it?
No, and it isn't. And because, as you said, with the Groovi, if you're new to it, maybe you're jumping onto that Groovi bus for the very first time. Yeah. The starter kit gives you everything to go for. this is a fantastic addition to add if you're going to go.
It is.
Because once you've got it, it is so addictive. And I know many of our friends in the room will agree how addictive it is. I mean, I've had, when we've been at the shows, people come up and say, oh, it's all your and Barbara's fault for making me buy it and everything else.
Twist my arm.
Yeah.
Right, Genevieve, I see what I really like. And this is where Jazz and I kind of collaborated on the design, because I'm a big fan of the stripes.
Yes.
You see, stripes. You know, when I was getting involved, because I kept saying, can we
They've
put
all
loads
got
of stripes
on,
in
haven't
them?
they?
Yeah. So you can see Genevieve is particularly, see, I love that. If that's not
and
French,
that works in the other direction as well.
So you can turn it that way.
Yeah.
You can turn it that way. It just looks glorious.
It looks very ooh la la,
doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, and you can add or take away as you like.
Yeah.
Right. So we can see here, happy 10th anniversary. Gorgeous. Thank you, Hazel. Yeah, really nice. And then this one is a Josie Davidson. Love what she's done. She's just she's taken the grid lines.
Yeah.
Doesn't that look clever though?
Wow.
And look at that beautiful rub-on.
Rub-on, yep. So everything, I'm sure Gracie's popped the link up already to the show page, because everything that we're showcasing is in that show page.
Carol Baker, check this out.
Wow.
So this is, and I'm not saying, don't be saying to me, I could never do that. That's neither here nor there, because you never say never.
No.
It's whether or what you'd never want to do it or not is the question.
I mean, I'm sure many of our friends that started their Groovi journey back in the day said, oh, I'd never be able to do that. And now when you look at what they're doing, is amazing.
And the thing is that you don't have to do that. It's not a prerequisite. No. You see this one, for example, Jane Telford, she's used the same plate.
Yeah.
Completely different. Look, and there isn't,
is there?
Embossed. So I think one of the best things about Groovi for me is, and I'll say it again and again, you get on that bus and you take it as far as you feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
And one of the things that used to impress me a lot when I was watching you evolve and you were sort of learning on the hoof. That's what we did,
exactly,
right?
Yeah.
But I remember you stepped away from your work, and the golden, what you always said was, I'm happy with that. And that's the key.
Yeah.
No matter. Don't compare your work with everybody else's, because
No.
That's the killer of joy. Comparison is the killer of joy.
Yeah.
But Paul always used to say, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that.
Because if I thought at the beginning that I could be a Linda Williams, or I would never have gone down that road.
Just say, I saw on Facebook a couple of weeks ago, somebody said, I feel like giving up, because I've seen so much beautiful work on here that I'm never going to be able to do. And it's like, no, flip it round.
Yeah.
You don't look at it like that. I saw loads of people coming in going, no, you take it at your own speed. You do what you do, you boo.
Yeah, absolutely.
You do, you boo. You may not like all the intricate cutting.
And that is the beauty of the Groovi system and that bus journey. Trace out the line art on clear parchment, put some beautiful papers behind it. Job's done. Yeah. You don't need to do anything else.
You really
it's
don't.
the elegance of that crisp white line art.
So that one, that's Genevieve, which I don't know.
I'm not sure which one.
I love Genevieve. But you see the size of the plate?
Yeah.
It's like a lot more pint size, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. $8.50 instead of $9.99. I like that too.
Absolutely. The price point. And then finally we have Juliet.
Juliet. So this is Roses. This is gorgeous. Let's take out. Look at Juliet again. Oh, look, stripes. Well, see, I love stripes, checkers, dots.
Yes,
I do.
They're really effective, aren't they, as a background?
And they make it so modern.
Yeah.
They just zhuzh it up, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you can make it modern, depends on the techniques used, but also it can give you that traditional look as well.
I like polka dots.
Yeah, I think it's with clarity and the designs, they're timeless.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go back 33 years and look at the stamp designs, they're still current now. And it's the same with Groovi. We go back 10 years and look at the butterfly wreath.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in the starter kit.
Still, it's the very first one.
And gives and gives.
Yeah.
It really, really does.
Yeah. And so here we have finally now, we've got Juliette, Très Français.
Ooh.
Right, I love this. So where's that on the starter kit? There it is.
Is on the plate mate there. So that's
Look,
that one.
There's the heart. the dotty heart.
Yeah.
It's just, so even this, so you've got the dotty heart, you've got the crosses,
Yeah.
you've got this, the wave, and then you've got that
lovely little flower.
Like little flower.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got 4 different.
Oh, look, you've got little hearts there as well.
And you've got a large one there. Look, large for that.
Yeah.
You've got the large heart. If you look.
Oh, yeah.
See all the different little assets.
I know, and
Beautiful.
Sometimes you don't really see them. Oh, hang on,
we've got a bit of a. There we go.
There we go. It might be the black it's trying to pick up underneath.
Yeah, it's picking up the blue underneath. But you can see just how much there is going on there. It's quite something.
There really
you know,
is.
so sometimes it's a good idea to just take the plate and trace it out and get familiar with all the different elements and assets that are on each plate, doesn't it?
Because we often don't see some of the obvious little elements when we're doing it.
And again, see, oh, this is so good, because I bet this is Josie. Of course it is. So Josie grids. Yeah. Grids a go-go. Yeah. And I love the way when you use grid work or embossing, it's like you can compress it, like depress it, and then emboss it. So you deboss and emboss. Yeah. And it creates this fantastic contrast of raising it and dropping it back. Yeah. Doesn't it? A real illusion, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. I love it. And this one's Gilascum. Beautiful roses. That again is a part of the plate mate. So there is that lace around that frill around the edge. And then this one again is on here too. It's what we were just looking at, the those flowers. So what Jill's showing us is, it doesn't have to be square. You make it any shape you like. Yeah. And a little bit of stitching on there as well. Yeah, look at that. So she's perforated the pattern on there and then used our lovely metallic threads. I think the point is, and this is something that needs to be said, I mean, I don't do a lot of Groovi just because it's a time factor for me. But when I do, I love it. And I think what you have to kind of trust me when I say, it takes time. Groovi and parchment art takes as long as it takes. Yeah. And I've learned this myself. When I acceptance is the key. When I accept that the chances are I'm not going to finish this piece of artwork in a day, because I'm going to let it sit, I'm going to let it rest, I'm going to do the white work. If I want to make it beautifully, then it's like embroidery. I think of parchment art and Groovi as almost on a par with embroidery. Because you're never going to finish that tablecloth in a day, right? But now the tablecloth is tinier. Yes. And so when you're working with it, you'll get a result sooner, you know? And it is, and as you say, it is achievable, and it's that satisfaction, isn't it? Very much. The same when you started working with the gel press. You had to accept, after a while, what you was getting. Once you accepted it, it then became more achievable, and then look what you do now with it. But it's trying to, the other thing about this is that it's very, very, I would say, safe. Yes. And it's very, if I say predictable, I mean that in the nicest possible way. If it's just a question of getting in the groove and trusting the process, isn't it? Definitely. And so that's the new set. Do you want to talk about the price and what it's all about? So you've got the bundle on the screen at the moment. So the item for that is 42500. You've got double points from midnight last night until midnight on the 15th, when our 10 days finish. Don't forget, if you spend over £50 on each day, I mean, you don't have to spend £50, but if you do, then you'll be entered for one of these lovely golden tickets, okay, which has got a value of £60. They're £600, eh? Yeah, yeah. When you look at it like that, yeah. But it's the value for that £60 as well. It's the learning. It's the learning, and you can go back and you've got access to that classroom again and again. Once you've got the keys to that class, you could go back as many times. If you can't make it on the live session, it doesn't matter. You've got the key. Yeah, you can go in any time and open up that door. Absolutely.
So it's a great way of sort of celebrating all things Groovi from the 10 years when it launched. I mean, it launched in 2015. I joined in 2016.
We were already flying by then.
And then 2017, what happened in 2017?
We acquired Pergamano. We bought Pergamano, and that really was when traditional parchment and modern parchment, which is Groovi, when the two, they were like a match made in heaven, really.
They were.
You know? And I have to say, in deference to Pergamano, before we bought it, we created the Groovi plates to accommodate their tools.
Yeah.
Little did we know that we'd own them one day. Just goes to show.
Because you've always
play the honourable game.
Yeah. You've always said that the Groovi plate gives you your line art, your imagery.
The design element.
Yes. And then the Pergamano gives you the tools for all the different techniques.
And the accessories and the bags and the dorso and the pencils and the pens. So we bought all the things that you need to take with you on the bus.
Yeah. And developed it further.
Oh, we've really evolved it. Like the rub-ons, and we've really gone to town with so many
the
things.
PKV tools.
Yeah, we've developed new tools. I mean, I've got to say hats off to Linda Williams on this one.
Yeah.
Because she's held out my hand all the way through this for 10 years nearly, since we started.
Yeah.
Linda has been that traditional parcher, and other ladies as well, but she's my mate, she's my bestie. And she's been there from the start, basically, just saying, have you thought of this and have you thought of that? I remember sitting in an aeroplane going to we were going to Slovenia.
That's right.
And we sat on it, we were stuck on an aeroplane because of the fog.
Yeah.
So we were sat on the runway for about 3 hours, and she and I, we were going with the coloured parchment. We were working out all the different colours and what we were going to call them, and she felt this and this.
Yeah.
And, you know, and we've got some wonderful parchment colours now, and rainbow.
And the rainbow parchment. And it's just developed. So it's taking some of those traditional, the designer parchment. I mean, look at that.
Exactly.
It goes on.
And there's 10% on all of that.
All of that. Anything that's Groovi, Pergamano, everything. And it's not only on the Clarity website, it's also on the Pergamano.com website.
We're very prolific.
So
we are. We've worked hard.
You don't stop.
No.
It's that mindset. Give me something to work with and I can work with it. Ideas, rubbish. That's where Barbara and then these conversations. Oh, I spoke to Linda the other day. We're going to do.
Yeah.
What? That was just all from a conversation.
and it's the same, like Sam turned up. Sam Crow turned up last night. I picked her up at the station. And we were like, rah, 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 rah. But that's a whole other world, isn't it? That's the stamps and the mixed media. And
had to go at Groovi as well.
She loves it because she's the whole thing. Yeah, it's the mindful thing. It's the calming element. But she's just said, I haven't got the patience. And I'll have to work on her. But
do you want to take a starter kit with you?
But we're aware, because so we designed these for Groovi, and as soon as I saw the designs, I said, oh, these would make lovely stamps. So before we start our demonstration, because Louise has teed up a beautiful demo for us, hasn't she?
Indeed.
Right, but let me show you the sampler plate, A4 sampler plate of stamps, because it's gorgeous. Whether or not I get to a demo, I don't know, but there are there's some downloads.
There is a download available, as always.
So let's have a look.
There we go.
At this particular, let's pan out a little bit. So you can see here, this is such a cool set. And we've got 9 different plates.
Yeah.
So we've actually taken the Linda's Richelieu plates as well, haven't we?
We have, yeah.
To make up the numbers.
Yeah.
So we've got the French lace, and we've combined it with a couple of the Richelieu plates, haven't we?
Yeah, I think it's all of them, because here's the 4 new ones.
Yeah.
There.
Oh, look at you. And then we've got the 5 Richelieu.
And then the 5 Richelieu. Yeah, I've only just noticed that.
So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 in this set.
Yeah.
And then these ones are the Richelieu. So we dropped 1.
Drop 1.
But that was because we wanted to put in these.
Yeah, these are lovely, aren't they?
These are superb. And if you look at what the set is, so this is 12166 for this set.
Yep. So you've got £3 saving, double points as well for the next 10 days.
Do I get 10% on this as well?
That is the 10% off because
it's already off.
Already off.
Okay,
and then you get your club discount as well.
But the thing is that I'll show you a quick demo. If I don't get to it, top tip. if you want to put that in there,
yeah,
you do that first, then you prop that in. Don't
right.
do that and then try and put that round it.
No, I suppose it a little bit.
It's so much easier if you put the frame in first,
Yeah.
and then you could drop the boxes in if you want to use them. But the thing is, of course, that these 3 frames, if we get in close on those, let's have a look. Let's see what we can see. Right. This is so good.
Do you want to go closer?
No, that'll do. Right. So you can see here we've got 3 different frames, and there is some artwork that shows them off as landscapes. I know that here they are. Like, just so that you understand, look. So now we can take a little piece of.
Oh, these are great for mini makes.
Yeah. So here we have Debbie McMullin. See, she's taken a little alcoholic landscape. Yeah. A couple of our little trees. Best wishes. Look at that.
Nice.
This is a lovely one. Deborah Wheeler. So she's done an overlap, different stamp inside. But what a beautiful.
Yeah, it doesn't give it a lovely look.
So these alone are worth having.
And then got the sentiments.
Yeah, really beautiful sentiment stamps. Really beautiful sentiment stamps. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there, that these aren't just frames for this.
No.
And when Jazz and I were designing this, we specifically made this into an ATC size.
So 2.5 by 3.5 inches.
Yep.
Perfect for our mini makes.
Precisely that. A little bit smaller, so it sits perfectly on an ATC card. Right?
Nice.
And this sits in there, and that sits in there. So you just got the nicest.
So you've got like a little topper and tag type.
Let me see the one, because I doubt I'm going to get to it, but I did make one just to show you. There.
Oh, these are little bijou card blanks.
So there's the little bijou card blank.
Nice.
Just to show you. Then this is that one up there. I used, you know, those lovely.
There's a download available for that as well.
Yeah, there it is.
There we go. So you can go to our catch up and craft section on the website, and all of the downloads are available. And
you know these inky backgrounds.
Yes. Yep.
So this is where you stamp the frame into some random area on here,
and then cut it back.
And then. You see what I mean? Then you put the frame over the top.
And then, wow.
What did I say we do first? We put the frame down first, and then we drop that in.
Yeah.
So that one is going to be a challenge.
Square.
Yeah.
Or just a little square as a little topper.
But believe you me, it's easier to put the frame down first and then drop the center in. Right, so you pop the frame down somewhere and then you drop the center in, and you get this really arty, grungy background. Just to add a little drop. If I get a chance, I'll do a demo on that.
And when you think that, when you look at the designs, and we've taken them from parchment craft, you think, oh, you can't sort of go arty and grungy, but you can.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Look at those.
And if you get in tight, you can see I've used. Let me just show you. I've used a Posca pen to create that look as if it.
Oh, as if the light's hitting.
Yeah, so it looks sort of 3-dimensional.
Nice.
But the thing is that those little grungy alcoholic backgrounds, they give you a great background. So that's the set. Let's have a look at a few bits of artwork, shall we?
Okay. So if I give you
that's a fantastic one. Look at that. So let's check this out. Sonia Goodliff. You see? Isn't that lovely? Should we take this away so there's not so much? It's getting a bit busy. So there, let's just take a look at the artwork, and you can see the white emboss. You don't lose the detail.
No.
Fantastic. Deborah Wheeler, white embossed on blue card.
Nice. She's just cut away a little bit, hasn't she?
Doesn't that look lovely? So you can see, Debbie McMullin, really nice. Just a panel with the 3. Yeah. This is a great one. So this is Tina Morris, and she's used a die on the board, which embeds it, and then that in the centre. It's another gorgeous one, Jane Telford, bow wallpaper in the background. We got the girl that invented that idea downstairs.
Yeah.
And then this is a Dee Paramore, lovely little frame that she's done. So
nice,
let's move this out of the way. There we go. And this is a gorgeous one by Debbie McMullin again, bit of stencil work in the background. So this is a lovely little ATC. Let's have a look. Jane Telford, perfect size for an ATC.
Look at that.
You put it in the middle. Doesn't that look lovely?
Yeah, I like how she's split up. the stamp in that background.
Different stamp in the background. So she's taken, so isn't that fantastic? Then we've got a set, for example, Sarah Brennan's done a little set of notelets, gold embossed and then red. But what a beautiful gift that would make.
And also sort of wedding invite style, isn't it?
Really lovely. And there's another set of really lovely, this is a Sonia Goodliff. Love what she's done with those. What's that dye?
It's our square lace frames.
Aren't they lovely
got
for
those
this?
in Groovi and in dyes.
Look at that. But doesn't that look fantastic?
Wow.
And what are they called if people want to
They
find
are
them?
called the nested square lace frames.
Nested square lace frames.
And there's doily, there's fan, there's about 5 different designs.
And this is the doily one?
I think that's the doily one. Yeah. Does it say on the back?
Nested square lace doily frames.
There we go.
Marvellous.
Beautiful.
Okay, and then last but not least, this is pretty spectacular. So this is Dee Paramore. Love this. So see the words, it's so nice.
I know.
So doesn't that sit beautifully? Look. So she's used white embossing and then stained the background. Don't they look glorious?
Yeah.
What a beautiful little box. And then there's a little cracker as well. Is that Dee?
Yeah, that's Dee as well.
Look, absolutely gorgeous. Coloured in, rolled over. So these little mini crackers and the boxes that Dave makes.
Yep, they're all on the show page. The mini cracker die is item number 31186 and a pack of 10 cube boxes 31160.
But this is what makes this look so spectacular is that it's layered up on our companion papers.
Yeah.
Really beautiful.
Really nice.
So it just goes to show you that you could take those designs in the midi size Groovi plate
and make them into
and then
stamps.
turn them into glorious stamps as well.
And one more brand new item that also has 10% off.
Oh yeah.
I'll give you that. I'm going to bring up the details
these
on
are
the
so
screen
cool.
for these. I know many people have put a couple of these in their basket.
These are great.
Item number 31818, $9.99. You've got your 10% off there, bringing it down to $8.99. Plus, you've got double points for the next 10 days, and you get your club discount as well.
So I've done, I don't think I'm going to get to it, but I'm going to show you so you see the size. I can see realistically what's going on here. So if we look, this is the size of the postcards or the toppers.
Yeah.
And this is the size of the tags.
Wow.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
So they're in here and you get 14 toppers and 14 tags in there. And just so you see the size, here's one that I just took one as it came, coloured it in, mounted it on a companion paper. It's a nice colouring exercise, and it already comes with the frames printed round. Now, remember, these are laser prints.
Yes.
So that means that they also
go through our hot foiling system.
Yeah. So if we look here, you can see these are the tags, just to give you the size, right? But some of them have got words and some of them haven't. We've got some and some.
That's right.
That's what we decided to do.
Yeah.
Leave some blank. So that you can add your own sentiment, and you can see here. I don't know if you can see, but they hot foil absolutely gloriously.
Nice.
Yeah. So if you want to stamp and emboss, that's fine. But if you want to,
if you're looking for a quick and easy card, then this is the toppers, isn't it? Really,
it is. Yeah. It is. They're already stamped for you, basically, is what that rolls down to, doesn't it?
It does. So the item on your screen is 31818. And as I say, Grace will pop the link up to the show page. Thank you very much. To the show page where you can find everything in there. Double points on all the brand new releases, including the stamps and those toppers and tags as well.
So I think it's time to do a demo.
Shall we? Okie dokie.
Okay, so here we go. I'm doing it today. And I think the reason that I'm doing it is because the point we want to make is that if I've always said this, if I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
You know, and this is a card that Louise Goldin, who she has kindly created this card for me to show you. So this is the card here. What's lovely is, of course, on our Clarity TV, you can see that on the screen. If you go to the website.
Yep, Catch Up and Craft. And then if you go into the Catch Up and Craft page, you can then go in there, see all of our previous Clarity Social TV shows. But if we do any demos, then you've got a link that you can download that demo.
Yeah.
Now, when you download it, if you keep it on your computer, it has what we call a hyperlink. You can click the ingredients and it will take you straight to that product. So it gives you the date and time of the TV show, what the project was called, what was made, a lovely picture. And I know many of our friends print these off and collect them into a folder.
There are 2 more that I did showing you just the artwork that I've just done, that ATC and the French lace toppers and tags, what was made and what was used.
Yeah.
So if you want to know a little quick makes with those stamps,
and they're great
it's
for
just a starting
inspiration,
place.
aren't they? So when you get your product home and you think, oh, I haven't got time to watch what it was, but let me find out what was used and I can go through it. Right, I need that. So I need my French lace midi Groovi plate made.
It's great to have it all listed out for you.
Yeah,
it helps so much.
Definitely.
That it's all there. It's like having a little project sheet ready to go.
It is, and it's. I mean, when often we used to do TV in Oundle before it disappeared. We never got the opportunity to provide that information.
No.
And the recordings were only there for a period of time. Our recordings go back since we started, which was in October of last year.
Yeah.
But I mean, you was one of the first crafters to go on YouTube with YouTube Tuesdays, wasn't
That's right. There are hundreds of
so there's thousands of hours. If I'm sure Grace will pop a link up to the YouTube page, you'll get lost. You really will.
But it's hours of tutorial, hours and hours and hours.
All for free.
So looking at this, let's take a look at what Louise has kindly made for us.
Yeah.
And what I'll do is, I think the easiest way to see this, we'll deconstruct this so you can see exactly what we've used. So first of all, top quality 7x7, scored but not folded.
Carte blank, yeah.
We do them in 5x5, 6x6. We do 4x4.
4x4, 4x4, 5x5, 6x6, 7x7, 8x8.
Then we've got companion paper.
Lovely. This one is from Rainbow River, item number 31665.
Then we've got another piece of white. I'm just showing you. I mean, if you think it's wasteful, but the thing is, you need this because it changes the color of that.
Yes.
Right. If you, the translucent element of parchment, what color is this, Paul?
That is sage green. The item number for that is, I will look it up, it's easier to look on the ingredients list. This is why it's so handy. So the sage green is 40777.
So if you
and
take,
it comes with pine needle as well.
Look at what happens when you take the white away.
Yeah.
The white gives it that color. So you, without that, it's a lot darker. That's not to say that that won't look nice, but if you want it that color, this is not the same, is it?
No.
The sage green, it's dictated by the background. So the white gives you that lovely finish. Okay, so let's have a look. We've got 7x7, we've got the companion paper. And when you're making it smaller, just in case you're wondering, right, you'll see when you do this, it's always quarter of an inch more.
Yeah.
So it's literally, you cut it quarter of an inch more, and that will give you an 1/8 of an inch around the outside.
And it gives you a really fine
quarter of an inch,
border, doesn't it?
Gives you a lovely fine border.
Yeah.
Sometimes you could do 1/2 an inch.
Yeah.
You know, then you'll get 1/4 of an inch all the way around.
Yeah.
But if you only give yourself it's all about how big the artwork wants to be.
Yeah.
So just to show you how we layer up, and then of course you center it, and that's how you get your different sliver frames, or you'll find fatter borders. Right, so we've got that. Now the next thing, so Louise has worked in 2 layers.
She has.
So the first layer, when we deconstruct it, where do we find that? That comes from the Groovi Plate Mate.
It does indeed.
So when we take the Groovi Plate Mate, you can see this is the border right there. So it literally is there like that.
Yeah.
Like that. Then you turn it round. I'll show you how to do this in a minute. But you're going to get, if you just do this, you can extend it. You can make it longer. You make it shorter. You can make it into a rectangle.
Yeah.
But it's got the corner, which to me is the key.
The key. Yeah.
Because it means that 90 degrees is set in stone.
Yeah.
And what I show you with this one, You could do with that one, 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 that one. So it's the same principle with all of these frames.
And it's the same technique that you came up with when working with the duet plates, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because we gave
Yeah,
right
exactly.
angles, and you came up with a fantastic way of making sure you get a complete square.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because to me, it's all about the right angle. That guarantees that you're going to meet at the other corner. It's all very well if you do this, but if you go off piece,
yeah,
right, then you're going to end up with a kind of a
dodgy square.
A rhomboid or whatever.
Rhomboid to
cool,
you too.
Sounds So now, of course, with this one, what Louise has done is she's cut that out to mount it. That doesn't mean you have to. It just means that that's what Louise has done.
Absolutely.
Right. So then we've got the second, let's look at the next layer. We've got this one here. So when we come over this way, you'll see that this is another layer and it's sat on top of that one.
Yeah.
So that one, let's check this out now. So there's a little difference. So we're going to take the plate that we've used for that one.
Yeah.
Let me show you this, right? And you'll see now, right, so we've done that one, and now we've got this plate here. Okay, let me take this out of the way. Let me slide this in, and then we'll take this and we'll show you. This is exactly as it comes. Okay, so when I turn it around like that, you can see this has been traced out exactly as it comes.
Yeah.
Bar the little back, this line here, that hasn't been used, and also we've eliminated the green, the leaves.
That's the beauty of the system.
You leave what you can. You did you open the window?
No, you was going to do it. I forgot. The sun's shining now, Barb.
We were in the middle of a deluge earlier. It was tipping down.
The river's gone.
The river's gone. I know. I said, does next door usually flood? He's our landlord. I thought, should someone ring him?
It's dried up now.
Has it?
It's gone.
It's on the other side now. We're on a slope.
It's in the building.
It was a river, wasn't it?
It was.
A deluge.
It was going to swim home.
So if we look at this one, you can see that, as we're saying, you can take what you want and leave the rest behind, which is one of the really best bits. So what's interesting is when you look at this plate, you see the stripes that way, stripes that way. If I want all the stripes, or I want to do a crisscross, it's a piece of cake.
Of course,
yeah, because you've got the same. So there's that one. Now the only difference here, if we look at this original plate and we look at this one, the only difference is this bit here.
Yes.
And so we were looking at that and we were saying, right, well, where did Louise find a little flower? Here in the middle. So it's bang in the middle. So instead of doing stripes and leaves here, she took the flower from the center and then she just straddled it.
So that was that technique you did
Richelieu.
Earlier in the year with the dragonflies, wasn't it? The cutting opportunities.
Yeah, you just make cutting opportunities.
Yeah.
And you literally put a line in, because in order for that to stay in place, you have to attach it to the outer edge. And you can put the lines where you like.
Yeah.
Right. So once you've got an opening like that, it's up to you what you put in.
Yeah.
But just in case you're wondering where that flower came from, she got it from the center there. Okay, so that then is sat on here, and that's cut out now. Yeah. So now we've deconstructed it, and we can see pretty much, except for this bit, that's how that's done. And you can also see what I love, again, it's that embossing, debossing thing. If we come in really tight on this one, in fact, can we come in a bit closer? We can. Right, let's see, let it just get, okay. Can you see the dots, the perforations? Yeah. Right. I love the way that looks, because it pushes down. I'll show you how to do that. But what it does is the white work raises the artwork.
I suppose, because you've perforated it. It does.
It pushes it down. It sinks it. That's the word. It sinks it. So when you're looking, let me bring this one in, and you can see the white work raises the artwork.
It's more prominent, isn't it?
But then you have it accentuates the embossed whitework by debossing the background. And I love that look.
Yeah.
I love
and that was
that
one
look.
of the real not one of the real reasons, but one of the
that was one of the main reasons.
That you'd had with Linda, especially with this Richelieu lace type effect.
Exactly that effect.
Yeah.
So with the Richelieu plates and now with these French lace plates, we've absolutely nailed it. This is exactly that effect that I wanted, of raising it with the whitework and then debossing it with the perforating. And it's so achievable with the Groovi plates.
The whole Groovi system. Yeah.
Now, the thing is, though, if we take a look at this, which is quite something, and then, of course, Louise has used rub-on in the middle, which is such a... I love the white. It looks
and this
so
was another of
excellent.
your ideas with the rub-ons, and especially doing them in the 3 different colorways, because normally you get black and white, don't you, with rub-ons. But you said, but we need white. She said, we need the white because they're perfect for parchment craft.
Exactly. And so what we've got is, these are like one example. We've got Christmas sentiments, we've got friendship, we've got birthdays, we've got anniversaries and weddings, and we've got all occasions.
So we've got those on the screen for the complete collection, 40485. Now it already has a special price on it, so you've got the 10% off on that special price. So you've got saving of £6.49. Bringing it down to £31.46.
They're top quality, really superb quality. So we've got gold, black and white.
Yes.
And it doesn't just work on, I mean, for me, it looks superb on parchment.
Yeah.
You know, to get that gold on parchment or the white looks exceptional.
It does. I mean, it works on leather, it works on paper, it works on card. Any ceramics. Sort of like non-porous sort of, really, isn't it?
Yeah, but it looks so classy. And so I feel, this is my thoughts on this, to be able to create that kind of artwork in the center with no rim around it, you can't see the edge around. It just looks like it's beautifully printed. Or we've got one here in the black, Thinking of You. It just looks so classy.
It does. And have you noticed, though, that the design team are using that
all the time?
All the time.
Because trying to write this or trying to do this in Groovi, you don't get the same level of perfection.
No.
You don't.
No.
That's it. So this is the other thing that is really... And this is a Pergamano. We've added this to the Pergamano... arsenal of products.
Year, wasn't it?
Yeah, brand new. And then of course the hockey stick is the perfect tool, which is our, again, that's a Pergamano tool. It's an embossing tool, great for white work, brilliant for transferring the rub-ons.
So the item number on should be 70485, not 40. But if you go to the show page, and so this is my box, so I know I'm always after a cover.
So cool. So you cut the rub-on out.
Yeah.
You place it where you want it, remove the backing sheet, place it, rub on the back with this, and Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I love the idea of keeping it in a slow down box.
Yeah,
because you do.
And these are great for everything. I mean, you started putting stamp collections in there.
Yeah.
You've got Janice's ones that you launched on Friday.
Love
with
it.
Janice.
Love it. They just look so good.
They look lovely on the shelf.
When you put them on the shelf, I've got whole walls of them now. Just they look so nice.
Elegance.
Yeah.
Clarity.
And also, what I like is I could put a picture on there, a little stamped picture, and it tells me exactly what stamps are in there.
Yeah.
As a stamp.
As long as you put them back in there.
Yeah, there is that. I'm quite good at that stuff.
Yeah.
Now, let's take a look. Let's get started. We understand how it works. So, and the other thing I was going to say before we get started is that I'm procrastinating it. But if you take that, you may be looking at that going, well, I can't do that. Cutting. Yeah. Well, so here's the same thing, right, where these two elements, these two layers have all been traced out on one layer alone.
Yeah.
So there we are. So now we've got the whole thing ready to be white worked.
Yeah.
Ready to do the white work on, ready to do the perforating, but there's no cutting required because it's all on one layer now.
And another thing, Pico dies.
That was something that we came up with.
we forget about those because we use the Pico dies. Wow.
Yeah, because I said, surely there's got to be an easier way than this. And it's one thing doing the Pico cutting on the inside, like on the intricate stuff like this.
Yeah.
But why would you go all the way around the outside? It takes forever.
Yeah.
And that's just, you know, the working girl thinking on her feet.
You want to concentrate on the artwork.
Yeah.
You haven't necessarily got the time. And when you've got the squares, circles, ovals, rectangles, all the different sizes.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy. One pass through the machine, job done.
I know. and you can cut the card with it and paper. So when you put the parchment through, you put paper through, and then, you know, like I was saying, oh, well, you need that to back onto that. So you cut them out at the same time, and then you've got your backing paper at the same size as well.
Definitely.
So it works really beautifully.
They were a real game changer, weren't they?
They really were. So let's take a look at this plate and let's get started on actually just looking at the demonstration, shall we?
Okay.
Is there anything you want to say while I get my bits together?
No, okay. Let me bring up some full screen graphics for you. So we just have a quick recap. So we've got this brand new collection, double points for 10 days, item number 42500. You've got the 10% saving on there of £6.30, bringing it down to £56.69. And then we'll have a look at the stamps, double points, item number 12166. And then the other new item are the toppers and tags, item number 31818.
Good.
Okay, we're good to go.
Yeah.
Super.
So say, for example, this is the first place. I want to start with the back layer. Let's just stick to the plan.
Yeah.
So if I try to do that on an A5 piece of parchment, it's pretty tight.
Yeah.
It's not giving me a lot of wiggle room.
No.
So why do that? I'd rather take an A4 piece of parchment, and then I've got more wiggle room.
Yeah.
Right. I can chop it up. Don't want to waste it. Of course you don't. But that's a good starting place, right? Yeah. So now I'm giving myself an area so that I can cut it out.
Yeah.
If I've decided I'm going to cut. So now I want to look at the plate, and the first thing I've got to do is use my tumble dry sheet, which is in the starter kit.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just rub the start. So speaking of starter kits, right? When I say starter kit, what I mean by that is our starter kit. Oh, can you hear that thunder? So what about if I were to go to the starter kit?
Yeah.
Right. Bear with me a minute. Right. So when I say starter kit, this is where I'm headed. And what we've got here is the plate mate that houses all these A5 square plates. We've got the nested ones for the frames.
Yeah.
We've got that one that we talked about
right at the beginning. Still a classic.
We've got Barb's Heart, which is a lovely one as well.
It is, because you've got another alphabet on there.
Alphabet. You've got
works with the Pico dies.
It does. Yeah. Double lines. You've got the landscape, which I use all the time.
Yeah.
And then of course you've got this one, which is like an inset, isn't it?
Yeah, so like an adapter plate
for the baby plates.
Yes, for the A6 squares.
But you've also got your little tags that works really well with that. Then coming up here, you've got the tools 1, 2, 3, 4. See, we didn't want to tread on the Pergamano tools when we started the starter kit, and so we never did.
No, because all those sizes of each of 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all in between.
They're all in between the Pergamano tools. Yeah. So we've got those. We've got Groovi tabs. We've got a tumble dry sheet. We've got the black matte, soft on one side, hard on the other. Yeah. We've got 10 sheets of parchment. 20. Right. We've got 20 sheets of parchment. We've got a double project sheet created by Tina Cox, of course.
Yeah.
You can see here, beautiful step-by-step projects to get you going. Yeah.
And as you said, the modular system, and this is where the plate mates really come into play. So this is the plate mate for the A5 squares. Today we're launching the brand new plate mate for the new MIDI collection.
But that doesn't mean that this starter kit isn't invaluable, Paul.
No.
You come in, it looks like I'm talking to the wall now.
I mean, look at where it started. You put it on the blog.
I know.
It was a blue mat, hard
we didn't
on
know
one
what
side.
We were doing, did we? Really?
And then you had your plate mate, 2 design plates, which were the trees and the hills and the mountains.
Yeah.
2 wooden ended tools. Still, I prefer these still today. and 20 sheets of A5 parchment.
So it's evolved.
It definitely has. And value for money, I think that was like £45 back in the day.
Yeah.
And when you look now, 10 years on, okay, it's a little bit more money, but value-wise,
yes,
it's crazy.
Yeah, it is. And it comes in comes in a box. Look, we do try hard.
Oh, yeah,
got to give us that.
A lot of people still keep that in there as well.
Yeah. So this is nice. So the starter kit is definitely when people say, all right, I'm going to go for it. Where do I start? You start with the starter
once you've got that, it's all downhill.
No, it's not. It's all uphill.
Because you'll become addicted.
So let's go to this plate now. And you'll see that it's got its own plate mate.
Yes.
Right. So I'm going to use this here. Now, of course, over 10 years, we've evolved. Now, I would, personally, I would say, do you need it? Funny enough, there's a plate mate for a plate mate here, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely.
So what we've got, see, because when you put this down, right, let's do this. I've got the Groovi tabs, and I can use this edge here, let's say, right, and I can attach.
You're going to do this corner, aren't you?
Oh, right, sorry.
I know, they look lovely, don't they? It's hard to choose which one you're going to
go
for.
So go like that. I'm going to put that in the middle. I'm going to use that corner up there. So I'm going to use, there you go. So I'll use, see, I'm using that line there.
Yeah.
To make sure I'm straight on with the parchment, because I think that's helpful. Right, so I'll pop that down like so, so that I can stick that down, and I can use the Groovi tabs to do this.
Yeah. Right.
So, do I need this plate mate for a plate mate? No, not necessarily, but it's an half help. Right. So now we've got another plate mate around the outside, which has got a fantastic alphabet on it. And also, this was a Dave idea.
It was Mr. Dave, Mr. Clarity.
He came up with the extenders. So that means that if you wanted to make a frame around, see these little bits here, they sit in there like that. Now, let's take this out for a minute. So if I wanted to, I'll take the plate mate like that, and I can pop this plate mate in there, you see. So now I've got extensions on there. Yeah. So you've got A4, because we do have A4 plates.
We do. We have our templates, don't we? Like our boxes, the Linda Williams.
Exactly. Exactly.
And the Linda, those ones, you need more than A4.
Because when you're using A4 parchment like this, right, it's the same size as the plate. So in that regard, this is good. But you can see why, look, see how it rattles around in there? You do need the plate mate that comes with the kit.
And we thought that when we was doing that if we did an adapter plate for that,
it
was too skinny.
Yeah,
it would snap,
it wasn't going to work.
And everything else.
I was thinking that maybe an L would be good. I'll talk to Dave about it. That might work, you know, just to get that in there so it's useful. You could just pop it in the starter kit.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
like that. It's like that lady's bicycle. What this starter kit needs now, Mrs. Armitage's bicycle.
So that plate mate, if you were interested, because it's in part of our event, is item number 42281.
So I'm just going to use it, just because I've got it in front of me, and I want to show you how it works. You see, so the thing is now, I always need to put a plate in there, though, so I don't crunch the parchment. Fall in the hole. Right? Say that again.
You'd fall into the hole, wouldn't you?
So first of all, I want to kind of secure those two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're on the underneath.
That's all right. Have we got any more parchment? Groovi plates.
There, tabs are there. There we go.
There we are. Groovi tabs. That's what
Never had too many Groovi tabs.
No. So we'll pop that on there. See, and then you tighten it up, and then that's in place.
Yeah.
Only if you think you need it. See, the thing now is, I'm gonna use that. This is much better, because what I can do now is, instead of attaching it to there, I can attach it to the plate mate. See, so now this is so good, isn't it?
It does. It definitely. I mean, as you say, it's not essential, but it's definitely beneficial.
Yeah.
When you're working with the larger plates, because it gives you that surface in which to lean as well.
Yeah, exactly. So you're not crunching the side of the. So I hope this is around the right way now. I've done all this. Yeah, it is. So when you've got to be able to feel it. You can see I'm no Groovi expert, but this is good enough. I know what I'm doing, right? So what we're going to do now, this was another good addition. And I remember who came up with this. This was a Tina Cox. She said, you need a Groovi guard.
Yeah.
Because you can lean on it when you're working. Right, so we're ready to go, and we're ready to do the back layer. It's only taken an hour and 10 minutes. What can I tell you? But actually, if I want to do this, the only thing that I need to consider before I do this is whether I want to do white work or don't want to do white work.
Right.
Because if depending on the white work, it's whether or not I use which tool, how deep do I want the line to be. If I want it to be crispy white, I'll use the number 1 tool.
Yeah.
If I want it to be a bit softer, I'll use the number 2, the number 3, the number 4 gives me a really soft line.
It does.
So that really changes the embossing idea.
Yes.
Okay. So for the sake of play, I'll just show you a couple of little tricks.
Okay.
See, like I say, I may not do a lot of parchment, but I do know the rules.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I remember back in the day when we first launched it, and working above your garage at the crate, we were the only two doing it, weren't we?
Yeah, we were.
And you was using distress markers.
Yeah.
Because you were using what a stamper would have at home.
That's all and then all the trad parchers, we couldn't get them in stock, could we?
Yeah.
So let's say this area here.
Yeah.
Right. So I've got a number 1 tool or a number 2. So I noticed, for example, that that Louise, she goes over with the number 2 tool first.
Yeah.
And then she goes back, doesn't she?
She does.
And does the number 1 tool next. And when I was looking at the old video yesterday, just prepping for this TV show, I realised that we used to do that as well.
We did, yeah.
Now, at which point did we decide we didn't need to do that anymore?
I think it was just speed.
On telly.
On telly.
Yeah.
That's all it was, wasn't it?
So now, you can go back. So this is going to be really crispy white, which means that it will be quite difficult to do the white work inside it.
Yes.
But if I was going to put colour in there, this would be absolutely perfect, wouldn't it? Yeah. So that would be probably where you'd want to go, number 2 tool, to do white work.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, watch this. If I want to do a crisp, like no white work, then probably, right, so if I go, this is the number 2 tool, but I do think that that's what happened, you know, because we were going on TV and we were racing against the clock trying to do parchment, which is a real contradiction in terms. It was very difficult
to do it in one
do
pass,
it fast.
didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah. So I've just done it with the number 2 tool, which means that it's got a little ball on the end. Let's come in a bit closer so you can see what I'm doing. I wonder if you can come in a bit closer even more. Yeah, you can see that, can't you? Come down a bit. So that's the number 2 tool with a little ball at the end.
Yeah.
Right. So let's say I want to go number 1 then for that one. So this is much crisper now on the other side.
You can see it changing.
Can you see it changing colour? So you take your time, you commit. If you come out of the groove, look, it doesn't change it doesn't hurt the parchment. Right, so let's do that one. Now this one, for the sake of argument, let's do this one with just the number 2 tool. So this one would be a lot easier to do white work in and kind of make a blend between the outline and the inside. Do you understand? So then this one, maybe I'm going to push the boat out and do number 3 now.
Okay.
Different again. So what's happening now is the ball tool is skimming over the top. You can feel it's not getting in the groove so much as it's gliding over the top, but it's still giving me an edge.
Yeah.
So if
the pushing into the groove with the tool is stretching the fibers of the parchment.
Can you see the difference?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
3. Yeah.
Right. So if I wanted to do a solid wall of white work, then that's what I would use.
And it'd be easier to achieve that.
Very much so.
Rather than trying to break that up. Yeah.
Exactly that. So even though when you're doing this, you'll look at that and you'll think that's rubbish. It's not. It's exactly what you need.
Yeah.
If you see Linda's work, when Linda's working to begin with, you think you can hardly see it.
What's the point?
You know, you get Linda's and you think, can't even see the pictures, but she needs that. She gives her the outline to get that fantastic white work.
Yeah.
So let's just do those. Let's carry on.
Okay.
Right. Are we cool with this?
Yeah.
Right. So now I want to show you how you line this up.
Okay.
So I'm not going to worry about all these frills. We know that it's going to be the same thing. I've done 1, 2, 3. The rest of them I'll just do with the number 2 tool. Right. It's a kind of a happy medium, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's somewhere in between.
If you're undecided that when you first,
exactly,
when you're first tracing out your design, if you're undecided, do I want to do white work? Do I not? What time have I got? If I get interrupted, it's one of those things. So, I mean, we always said it's like, you can, with color, you can add it, but you can't take it away.
Exactly that.
If you go with the number 1, you can't change it.
You can't change that. That's set in stone. Right. So let's say I've done I've done it with the number 2 tool.
Yeah.
So it's not as crispy white as the number 1 tool would be, but it's good enough.
Yeah.
Right. So if I wanted to, I could go back. I could just relocate, put it back in.
Because it all falls back into the slot. It all
falls back into the slot. Now this is the key. If I take this away, and I know for many people watching, all the trad parchers, they're looking at this and they're thinking, well, this is a piece of cake. But for somebody who's never done anything like this before, this is not a piece of cake.
No.
Right? So I'm just releasing the artwork. Let's have a look. We'll just release it. I've done as much as I want to.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to turn this around. Okay. And what happens is it relocates. It sits back in there. So now these pieces here, they're my registration almost.
So this is where you can decide whether you want to go square, whether you want to go rectangle, whether you want to fill the whole A4 piece up.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
So let's say, for example, if I want to go square, then I'm going to leave that at the end to go round.
Yeah.
Right. So then what you do is you can feel it. It sits. There you go. You know when you've locked in.
Yeah.
Then you. Oh, not that one. Where's all my?
They're hiding under.
Where am I putting them? I've got them everywhere. Right. So let's just make sure that it's in the right place. Right. It's because they're on the back, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. So I'll just pop that there and pop that one there, like so.
That's it.
So I've got more out.
You got more.
Oh well, yes.
They're in the promotion.
Yeah, they are.
Too many.
Let me just pop that there. Right. So now I know it's in the right place. Make sure it's there. And then I'll go again. And what I'll do is I'll use my guard.
Yeah.
I'll go in here and then I'll start again. And I know that it's all in the right place because it's located.
Yeah.
So of course I will have done all this as well. Right. And so am I doing that with the number 2 or number 3? It depends entirely how much white work I want to apply.
Because you could do every other one, couldn't you?
You could.
Yeah.
So you could go like, so there you go. That's that one, number 2. Then I can flick it round and do number 1 because yeah,
you can see the difference as you do it.
And then you go again. If you're in a hurry, like pretend we're on TV, right, then you can whiz through, and with the small bits like this is number 1 now, right? So once I've done number 1, I want to show you the difference. When you do this, you can see immediately what a difference it makes.
And what you're doing here is showing how to create this frame. This was the technique that you came up with, the duet plates that Josie designed, because they were right angles. And it's the same principle as you could go square, you can go rectangle, you can go big square, little square. But you would spend all that time doing it, and then all of a sudden it didn't meet.
No.
When you so by doing this, even if you wanted to do all those lovely little flourishes above it, you could do this bit first, make sure you was happy.
That's exactly what I think.
That you've got your square, and then you go back in and fill it in.
I'm not going to do all that and then find out that actually I was off.
Yeah.
You know?
So it's that same technique that you came up with.
That's my own idea.
I would do the same.
So now I've done that, right? So then I lift this off again. Once I know that it's joined, then I'll put everything else that I want to put on it. Right, but I just want to make sure. So let me just take that off there, and it's all about slowly does it, you know.
Sellotape back in the day, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
They used to rip the parchment.
So then you go to this one, in you go again. See, so I'm going clockwise all the time with my artwork. So then I go to this one, I go back to there. No, I want to go to here, right? And it locks again. I can feel it. I can check it on the line here as well.
Yeah.
You know, there are lots of different registration possibilities. So you just take your plate, do that, make sure it's all in place. See, and then you go again, make sure it's in the right place. If it's not, stop.
Yeah.
Don't think it's going to find its own place, because
it will square itself up.
It won't. Wrong's wrong. Right? So now I'm doing this bit.
Yeah.
Right? So if I just whiz around now, let me just do this and that. And I don't want to, there's so much I want to show you, but I just feel that this is worth seeing how this works.
I think it definitely is, because maybe if you're fairly newish to the Groovi system, and this is the first time you've seen designs where you only get part of a design.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if we had to do this as individual plates? We'd have to have all different size squares, and it would be so expensive. So to have these new MIDI plates with this fantastic plate mate, makes such a difference.
And the designs on the MIDI plates are so beautiful and so interchangeable.
And they've got elegance to them, but they've got modernness to them as well.
I think so too. You know, they've got that lovely French. I mean, one of the things that I've always liked about Parchment is that lace look. I've always said to Linda, how do you get the lace look? There's a difference between the grid look and the lace look.
Yeah.
This is the lace look for me, right? So now I've done that side. I'm whizzing through now.
Yeah.
And now it's like drum roll. Let's hope that it joins up. So if my calculations are right, we'll do that. If not, I'm going on holiday and it's over to you, virtually. So now I've done all the way around. Anyway. So I've just got that last one to do. In it goes, in its slots. I can feel that that's in place. That's in place. I love it when it works, Paul. There you go.
But I think that's not only the beauty of the design, but also the system.
Yeah.
And how achievable. Imagine trying to do this traditionally on a
no.
I
can't imagine.
No.
And my point to doing this, right, I had to actually do the whole thing to prove how this works, how the corners on the plate mate work, you know. And for me, I'm not doing all of the stuff. So when you're doing any of these plate mates, pick the basic and then go back and fill it up afterwards. Make sure that you've got exactly what you want
and it's the
before
size
you
that
start.
Expected.
Yeah, because you don't. I've seen the chagrin, the frustration where people have done the grid work, and then they've gone all the way round,
and it doesn't meet.
And then it doesn't meet
because the parchment moved fractionally.
Yeah. See, so now I know that that's absolutely bang on, and you can see exactly where the different number 2.
Yeah, it was there, wasn't it? It was 1, 2, 3.
Number 3, number 2, number 1. All this was number 2. All this is number 1, just to show you the difference.
Yeah.
Now, if you go into this one with the white work, I did try it earlier on, didn't I? With this.
Yeah.
Do you remember? So this is this. If I wanted to get this look, see, it's completely different. On that? Well, let me go in to there.
Okay.
So you can see. If I go, see, I've got a practice piece. For me, I've always got a practice. Whether I'm doing stamping, I've always got a piece, and I try it out
so
first.
One for test, one for best.
Always one for test and one for best. It's no different.
Yeah.
You know, I want to try it out, and you do that on your scrap or on your test piece.
Yeah.
And then you work it out after.
Linda does it, doesn't she? She doesn't create her design and then go straight in. Even though she's been doing it for many years, it's like warm up. Apparently, it's like going to the gym.
Exactly.
Not.
So say, for example, let's go to the most faded one. Do you want to come in a bit?
Come in a little bit.
And then I'll show you. You come in right to...
That's number 3. So we're coming to try number 4. It's going to be really close.
That's okay. So let's just see if that works. Right. So this one here is the really light one.
Yeah.
You could go even lighter. And you could, I mean, I'm using the black matte.
Yeah.
But you could put like a bit of polybag underneath it.
Yeah.
And that would stop it stretching more. Let's take a bit of bag, a little bit of bag. Have we got a little?
We've only got a big bag.
Anything will do. Right, will you cut me up a bit of bag?
I'll cut you a bit of bag.
And I'll show you. So, for example, if I'm using the soft matte now, And now I want to put a little bit of, so light feathery strokes, okay. And let's say I'm going to emboss. Now, if you spoke to Linda, she would say, what tool am I using? I'm using the number 4 tool, right? So she would say, right, use the number 4 tool first. Number 6 is her best friend, but I think number 6 is too large for this piece. So you pick the tool that fits the piece. So let's just show you what I mean. I want to do this whole piece like this, right? Now, I didn't read the rule book, but I listened very carefully when Linda Williams was talking. And she always says, let it rest, let it rest. So I've done that much. Now, that's much more than Linda would do. Yeah. If I turn that over, let it just find its place. And you'll see it's far more than Linda would do.
Yeah.
Yeah, she would, that'd be like 2 days later she'd get to that. Honestly, you're like, really?
Yeah, and like first day you think, but you haven't done anything.
I haven't done anything.
It's like grey work.
Let it rest overnight. And you think, okay.
But that's where the acceptance comes in, isn't it?
That's where the acceptance comes in. And that's also where the beauty comes in.
Yeah.
And that's why most parchers, most people, they've got half a dozen different pieces on the go at the same time.
Yeah.
So they won't just sit and wait now. They'll have another piece of artwork. So they'll have half a dozen different pieces of artwork on the go in different bags.
Yeah.
You know?
And then you go back to it and you just put a little note, no, this is layer 1, layer 2. I mean, sometimes Linda's 12 layers.
I know. Well, you know, there we are. That's why she's a master parcher.
Yeah.
So let's say we've done that. Now, it may be that you feel it's a little bit too soft for you.
Yeah.
Right? So we've got, and let's call it a poly bag.
Yeah.
Right? So I can take that poly bag and I can, let's use the number 2 one.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, I'm going to use this. And if I go on this now, straight away I can feel, okay, that it's got more resistance. Yeah, there's more resistance. So now I can light feathery strokes and let's check the difference and there's also a pink matte that a lot of people use, the excellent matte, I think.
My best friend when it comes to white work is the pink matte.
Yours is, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I've come off the page a bit. There we are, look. So you can see this is where I used the black on its own. This is where I've got a bit of resistance.
Yeah.
Right.
And you're using the same pressure as well.
Still using the same. So when we turn it over, let's have a look if we can see that. Yeah, we can. That was the first one. That was the second one.
Yeah.
But you can see less of an outline.
Yes.
And that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Now let's fast forward. This is the one that I kind of did earlier. Right. So that one is like that. I've done a couple of layers on that.
Okay.
I haven't let it sit for hours. I've let it sit for hours rather than days. I know, I love you, Linda, but I'm going on holiday. Right, so now I'm going to take my number 4 tool again, just because I want to check, right? And now I'm going to make this whiter. And it's really weird because I've given it some time
to sort of bounce back.
Yeah, it's stretched back. So let me go to the smaller tool. I'm going to go to the number 3 now, right? And now I'm going to see and then I'm going to come in here, right? And I'm going to accentuate the outside. Now let's see what happens when
that doesn't look like the same design, does it? Because of the way. Look. Yeah, look at that.
So that, when you compare that with what we've got on here, see, it's a completely different look.
It looks different, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it's the same design.
Yeah, but it's without just the line.
So if I were to let that, I love this, you see. I love white work. So if I were to take the number 2, I'll wait a little bit longer, let's say. Right, fast forward another few hours. Okay. This is why Linda's the master parcher and Barbara isn't. Right. But seriously, just to show you, I can now use the number 2 tool really gently and I can go around the outside and I can accentuate the shape. Do you see?
Yeah.
So now I'm embossing even more. I've got the poly bag underneath to give me a bit of support. I'm not even wearing my Dame Edna's. Right. So when I turn that over now, it's starting to look really super.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show you, when we say do a bit of white work, what we're saying is, how far do you want to go with it?
Yeah.
And when you take I think the lesson here is, if you have to decide how faded you want the outline to be.
Yeah.
Because that controls the kind of white work you're going to use.
It does.
And and you have to think about that before you begin.
Yeah.
Because you can't undo it.
No, it's that you could like add color, but you can't take it away. And the other thing, I mean, if I was going to do that lovely white work, I would go for a number 4 with my glasses on, but with the light wave panel.
There you go.
So it's all down to sort of eyesight as well.
Yeah.
And so obviously 2 or 3, but if you've got really good eyesight, or you've got the light panel makes such a difference. It really does.
Oh, big time.
Not essential, but especially when you're coming and you think, but it's a light panel, how can I do white work? It does make a difference for me to get that lovely finish.
It does.
Yeah.
Especially on coloured parchment.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially if you go for that, there's that lovely midnight blue. You got no chance.
Got no hope. Got 2 hopes. Bob hope and no hope. So now we're back to this. Yeah, and your pink matte.
Pink matte. It really is good. It's got texture on one side.
Does it matter what side you use?
No, it's whatever way it lands, really. And you can use it on the light panel as well, because it illuminates from underneath. So for me, and I could still put a cello bag on there as well. And you get even more of a result. So if you're heavy-handed or light-handed, then the pink matte is key. And the item number for that is 70075, and that will also have that 10% off as well, plus your club discount.
It's good, isn't it?
It's very good.
So, and I think the other thing, and I'm sure we've said it, but I'm going to say it again. There are so many, like the online classes, Groovi Tuesday, groups, Hazel Edwards. There are people all over the country doing Josie Davidson, doing little classes. We've got a retreat in the summer.
We have indeed.
We do workshops. Linda Williams is coming down to do the retreat. What day is that, Paul?
Well, look, I happen to have our tickets.
Well, actually, we didn't plan that.
No, we didn't, but they're on the shelf. So if you want to...
Let me give you the overhead.
The overhead. Okay, let me get these in the right order. So they're in blocks of 2 days. So if you want to get Inky Arty with Barb, this is on the 18th and 19th, which is the Monday and Tuesday. Item number for that is 60211. Maybe you want to come on a Wednesday and a Thursday, which is the 20th and the 21st. Item number 60212. And then if you want to get Groovi and Parchy with Linda, that's on the Saturday and Sunday. And that's the funder above us. Item number 60213. So they are, we used to do the Parchment Retreat later in the year, but we decided that the venue at Ditton was lovely. And while we were there for the summer one, we put the Parchment one on the end as well, because many of you come to both of them.
Exactly.
So many of you are coming on the Wednesday, Thursday, and then the Saturday,
and then having
Sunday.
A day off on the Friday, because Aylesford is a beautiful part of the world.
It is.
So a lot of people are going to Ditton and Aylesford and Leeds Castle. I mean, we're right in the middle of the land of castles.
We are, and hopefully the weather will be nice.
And I think we've still got, today's a little bit extreme. I just found a piece of artwork.
Yeah.
I wanted to show you, you know, we're talking about levels of white work.
Yes.
So this explains exactly better than I could. So if you look at Carol Baker's work here, you see where she's taken that outside. She's
just used the corner as it comes, hasn't she?
But you know that she's, in order to get that, she's used like the number 3 to be able to emboss it that well.
Yeah.
And if you come in a bit closer, let me show you. You see here, she's to get that white fill, which I think looks immaculate.
You can't see any line art, can you?
No. And the way to do that is to use a bigger ball tool to get the outline.
Yeah.
And then that way you're not fighting with the fill.
It will take you longer and
and it never looks as good.
No.
So that's a perfect example. And you see up here, let me show you if I come in really close on that one. Yeah, I'm going to show you that as well, because she's got it all going on here. So this one here, she's really used, like I would say, the number 4 or the number 3.
Yeah.
On that one there, she's used the number 2 because you can still see where where the outline is.
Yes.
This one, she's definitely used the number 3 because she's completely infilled it again.
Yeah.
So it's just an exciting, I think it's
It is.
exciting to
And I
see
think
all
it's
the
nice
different
because
contrasts.
that bit there, just a little bit of white work at the bottom.
Yeah.
Just taking part the corner exactly as it comes.
Yeah.
On there.
And then the stripes.
Yeah.
She's done just every other stripe. Look, so she's taken that idea and she's changed the stripes.
Well,
that's a different plate.
That's a different plate.
Let's have a look.
That's Antoinette.
That's Antoinette. Look at that. There you are, you see. So she's taken those bits there, that bit there. Isn't that clever?
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Gives it a completely different look, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then she's cut out the bits in between. It's very exciting plates for me, but it's taken us 10 years to get to where we know exactly what we're doing.
Yeah.
We know exactly how to arrive at the look that we want.
And the lots of tips and tricks and the product to make it achievable as well.
And even though I'm spending time on the white work, I'm speaking to the person watching that thinks I'll never be able to do that. Yeah. See, to me, I love the white work.
Do you remember when we used to do TV at the beginning? I struggled big time with the white. Barb got it like that. She really did. And it was the patience thing. I didn't have the patience. And I was doing it, and I'd get the look of white work, but I was using a white pencil. And Barb went, "You cannot go on TV and show how to do white work with a white pencil." I went, "But it's white." So I had to accept that.
You had to learn
I had to learn how to, and I had to be patient. And now I'm glad that I did. But it is that thing, it's that acceptance. Do you remember white pencil? There we go, it looks white, it looks white.
It doesn't look the same, does it?
It's not the same. From a distance, it looks the same.
And you know what makes me laugh? Now, Linda, she goes, use a white pencil.
Use a white pencil, I know.
We just spent 10 years getting it right for her. And then she goes, "Oh, my best friend, white pencil."
Yeah, I know. So,
she's funny.
But it was. And as I say, I remember, because I was on the stamp design team back in the day. I mean, I've known you many, many years.
Yeah.
On the design team, and Bart said, "Oh, bringing out this brand new product and blah, blah, blah." Do you remember, I used to teach my little ladies at the Pantiles.
Oh, the greys.
Yeah.
They're called grey as well.
Yeah. And when I saw it and I started working it, I thought this is going to be perfect for them. So it was one Saturday a month. And
do
you remember? And I went down there.
They're such lovely women.
And I said, "Clarity are about to launch this brand new product."
Valerie's shop.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Valerie Marshall's shop.
Yeah. And I said, "You're going to absolutely love it." I said, "I can't tell you anything about it." I said, "But I know
that
you will love it." And they said, "We want it." And they pre-ordered it.
And it was sight unseen.
Hadn't seen it.
That's
but
called
just based
trust.
On, and as soon as they got it, that was it. They're hooked.
And they come to every single retreat, don't they? Beautiful ladies.
Yeah.
Just love the ladies.
Heather Gray and they're both Heathers. I know. First names I'm fine with.
So what I've done now.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. Over the 10 years, one of the things that I mentioned in the blog yesterday, apart from all the skill sets, it's been quite a success story to start with that little starter kit and build into this amazing modular system with the help of a few very good friends, right? But what's even more powerful is the community.
Yeah. And when you see someone do it for the first time and look on their face, remember the little boy?
When you were at Coleman's?
No, I was at a show. It wasn't Doncaster. I was doing it. We used to sell to one of our trade customers.
Yeah.
And they asked me to go and demonstrate it. And he had his head on the thing like this, and he was doing it. And and he wouldn't leave the stand. Anyway, the mum, they'd only just arrived, so she said, "No, we'll come back on the way through." And then they came back and said goodbye. And then by the time I got home from that, she sent me a message saying that he went home and he went straight to her craft room and he got the Groovi out and he started it. And he suffered with ADHD, so lack of sort of attention.
Yeah, irritability.
Yeah, always couldn't sit still. Was always sort of, if the house was quiet, there was something wrong. Yeah, and the house was quiet, and she thought there was something wrong. And when she sent me a picture,
in his zone, wasn't he?
It just
to the point where, if I'm not mistaken, he used to take it to school.
Yeah,
and if he got really anxious at school,
yeah,
the teacher
would give it to him.
understood.
Yeah.
And he would take himself somewhere and it would just calm him down.
Yeah. And to me,
amazing.
That's you couldn't do that with anything else, could you?
No. So getting back to this, it's the truth, right? If we let's pan out a little bit and let's take a look. So going back to our artwork, we've established how we do that, how we do the white work. Now let's look at the perforating.
Yeah.
I'm going to look at the perforating.
Yeah.
So for the sake of argument, let's say we've taken the plate.
Yeah.
And we've traced it out exactly as it comes. And we've got that.
These MIDI plates are lovely.
Yeah, they're such a nice size.
Yeah.
Right, so now I've got that.
Yeah.
So we agree that I've done that and I've done a bit of white work.
Yeah.
Let's say I'm doing the white work next.
Yes.
Yeah. So the sequence of parching skills.
Yeah.
Line art, white work.
Yeah.
Although to me, like I was explaining in depth, white work and line art go together depending on how much white work you want to do.
But getting the parchment white, tracing it out
is white
work.
Yeah, so it's all the same thing. So you've got to kind of see it as a whole thing. So the white work and the embossing of the line art.
Yeah.
Then you've got the colouring.
Yeah.
Then the next thing is the colouring. So you do the white work, and then you do the colouring.
Yeah.
Then you do the perforating, and then you do the cutting.
Yes.
The last thing is the cut.
Yeah.
So let's keep going, right? What we've got now is we've got our starter kit. So we're back to the starter kit, PlateMate. We've got our grid. It's not in the PlateMate, it's a diagonal one.
Yes. So we do the straight, and again, these were a bit of a game changer, weren't they?
They used to be metal, didn't
metal, and they used to apparently blunt the tools after. They were flexible. They
couldn't see through them.
No, they would bend and everything else. Whereas with these, I mean, we pay per hole, don't we?
We do. This is one of the things that we've got, the driller killers.
Driller killers.
We call them the driller killers.
Yeah.
And Dave has to go down to the driller killers and he gets them made and then we cut them out here. So so these are precision drilled, they really are an engineering feat.
Not only for perforating, but for embossing as well.
Yeah. So these are the A5 square bold.
Straight and diagonal.
And they're built to fit the bold needle tool.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
We've also got a super fine, which costs a fortune.
I bet if there's any left.
Have we got any left?
I think
they cost such a lot of money to make, don't they?
Yeah.
But they're so nice. I know, but they're so.
Yeah.
Right. But anyway, so we're using this. This works. And then what you're going to do, I've already done a couple, and we're going to lay this up on, and I'm taking my guidance now from Louise.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use this thin material.
Pico foam.
But I'm going to put another plate,
your A4 black mat just underneath to protect
just so that I don't go to my mahogany coffee table.
Yes. So we've just had a quick question. Can I just go to the front?
Yeah.
Okay. So Betty asks, does she need to put a code in for the 10% discount? No. All of the Pergamano and Groovi products have already been discounted by the 10% already. So when you put it in your basket, it's got that 10% saving already.
Cool.
And then obviously if you're a club member, you need to make sure you log into your account first before putting stuff into your basket. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking.
Right. So I've got just to recap, I've got my hard mat.
Yeah.
So that stops me when I go through with my bold one needle tool.
Yes.
It stops me hitting my coffee table. I've got my thin Pico foam.
Yeah.
I'm following Louise's lead on this one. And then I've got my
your diagonal grid in
my
there.
Diagonal grid.
Yeah.
So I've already done two sides, done two.
Yeah.
So and it locks back in.
It's
just
clever again.
So
just like
love
the
it.
Groovi, and we're doing this from the front, aren't we?
Yeah, we're doing this from the front. That's it. So perforating is from the front, white work from the back.
And you got a story about
No,
that.
I'm not going to bring that up on live TV, Mr. Paul. Don't you be setting me up, matey.
The little Scottish lady.
No,
lovely.
we don't talk about that on live TV. Right, so moving forward, I'm going to use my one needle bold tool.
And they're stored in your lovely tool caddy, aren't they?
Yeah. There we go.
There's 10% off for the first time. There's 10% off of these. I did ask Dave if it was okay.
Did you?
Because he makes them.
So here's the thing, right? So Paul kindly put together in my tool caddy all the bits I'm going to need today from the instruction.
Yeah, from the
project
ingredients list. Yeah.
Right. But the thing is that I had my own little stash because I've got my pink bag.
Yeah.
And in my pink bag, okay, so if we could pan out,
yeah,
right, my pink bag, everything. I said to Jazz, to Sam this morning, I said, I just got to pop upstairs, get my pink bag.
Yeah.
So I can show you. It's a bit of it looks like my kitchen, really.
Mine's the same.
I've got my dies, I've got my sponges, I've got all the bits that I need in there.
Yeah.
I've got a pair of scissors, I've got paper, I've got nibs, got my thingy.
Guard.
Got my tools, you can see here. Oh, I'm coming over.
Should I take this out of the way?
Take that out of the way before I wreck it. Right. Just don't lose it.
No.
Right, I've got my blending nibs, all the things that, all the different tools, eraser,
shader tools.
Got that 3 of them. Yeah. I know. Then we got the multi-needle tools. Another thing that we did, the lids.
Change the caps.
See, I might have the old one here. Have I got the old one? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the old one.
That's the old one.
That's what used to happen.
That you tread on it and go, ouch.
Yeah. But that's the old nibs. That's what we, without wanting to.
And you can tell the difference.
The owners before. But that's what used to happen.
Yeah.
And I said, well, that's not good, is it?
Okay.
So we changed them.
Let me see if I can find another one, see if there's a difference in
there you go. So check this out.
That's a new one.
So this is so then you can squeeze as hard as you like. You can stand on it. This is not going to check that difference out. So that was what we inherited.
Most of them are new.
And that's good.
That was one. That was ouch. That was a prick. And it got the cap on it.
But I just wanted to explain that we've been evolving.
You've got new ones. That was obviously went to the one that had an old one on, which was good.
I'm glad that I showed you that.
There we go. I'll put the new one on there.
There we are. So that's how the new one works.
Yeah.
And that was what we and you can actually buy replacement caps.
Yeah, we've got the caps.
So if you have these old crunchy ones, then you can just buy some.
Yeah, I think it's pack of 5, I think it is.
And they're the good ones.
Yes.
So that was something that we talk about evolving.
Yeah.
We've done so much, really.
We have.
So 10 years of Groovi.
Yeah.
And then we also took on Pergamano.
Yeah.
And then we started improving that as well.
Changing the tools, adding new ones, bringing some back.
Pergoliners we're running out of.
Super, yeah.
Trying to work on a new collection, but that's not easy nowadays. No. And then we've got the Perga colours. Love these.
Colours, yeah.
Double-ended.
Water based. And a lot of stuff, although there's Pergamano on it, it isn't just for Pergamano. These are lovely to colour in the little toppers and tags and your stamping.
Well, the thing about them is that you've got 2 different ends. You've got the bullet end.
Yeah.
Let me get a bit of paper. Let me get a bit of paper.
Do I take a piece of the back of this card?
Yeah, I'll use this. I'll use this. Right. So I can use the bullet end.
Yeah.
Right, which works like a charm. But it's also got the...
It's like a fine liner, isn't it?
Very fine liner. And it's got this kind of plastic sheath, like a protective sheath.
Yeah.
So it doesn't get all frayed and,
Well, I suppose
really
it's
good.
like micron pen. You press too heavy on a micron pen and that's it, isn't it? Whereas with these, you press too heavy and it doesn't do anything.
But the thing is, I've got all my bits in there. Then I've got the batters for the stippling. I've got a bit of Pico foam. I've got... It's everything in here.
And you've got one of these for your Faber-Castells as well.
All my polychromos, I took them all out and put them all in there. But this is so nice. It's really...
It's
got
double
everything
stitch.
in there that I need.
I mean, there's still areas that you haven't used. You've got pockets and everything else.
I took my scissors out because I was going to use them. Headache tablets.
Makeup brush. That's where it went.
Sharpener. To sharpen my pencils.
Yep.
That's what I use to sharpen my pencils.
Yeah.
So there you go. And it all fits in there. Bit of mask material. It's useful.
It is.
Very useful indeed.
Mine's exactly the same. And I mean, they're fantastic. The item number for those is 70130. So they will have the 10% off. I've got my original one from 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, mine is still the same one.
So have I.
Yeah.
That's mine original one.
But I'm saying they last so long because of the quality of it.
No, that's my original one.
To have the double stitching on it.
They're nice.
Really, really nice.
So there's 10% off that.
Yep, there is indeed.
back to artwork. I know we didn't get much done, but you know what?
It's a celebration, isn't it?
Yeah,
it really
and I think, again, I'm talking to the person that's sitting on the fence thinking, do I want to give this a go? Yes, you do. And you want to put the starter kit. You need the starter kit, and then you're going to treat yourself to those MIDI
brand new launch.
And then you're off and running.
You are.
And then you've definitely spent enough money to go into the golden ticket.
I mean, if you want to take it, you could go for the starter kit today.
Join the club. Join the Groovi Club.
Yes, the Groovi Club. £7 a month, isn't it?
Oh, I know.
And it's madness because you get, we've already told you how much a baby plate is, which is £6.50. And you get the booklet in there.
Show off what we
get.
So
this is last month's one. This is June. Let me take that, just move that to one side again. So this is June. So I'm going to come in closer on this
Linda
one.
Williams designs the plates every month.
Yeah. So you get a baby plate.
Worth £6.50.
Yep, £6.50. Then you get, this is a new and improved version.
Yeah.
This is like a book now.
11 steps.
Yep. So you get a project by Jane Telford and one by Linda herself. And look, I mean, look at that. You get that lovely picture of the finished piece.
Yeah. You get the
ingredients,
and then you get step by step.
Step by step.
So you get
that white
a
pencil.
double project. Yeah. I know. I told you she's converted.
But I mean, look. And then you got the piece by Jane. And there we've got all the pictures and step-by-steps there. And it really does go into a lot of detail, doesn't it?
Really
then you've
nice.
got details of the other clubs as well. So you've got the stencil club.
There's an inch and centimetre guide. Some people, Linda tends to work in centimetres and we're all inches. I think it's the Welsh thing. I don't know.
So it's a 12-month subscription. You can pay all up front for the whole year. And what that gives you is one of these every single month. It's like Christmas once a
brand new
month.
design, not for anybody else.
No.
But what you're buying really is the education.
Yeah. And it's all about, you'll get your 10% discount. We do half price club member sale. So if you belong to one club, you'll get a 10% discount for the whole year.
On everything you buy.
Everything that you buy on the Clarity website. If you go for 2 clubs, so maybe you want to go for, say, the stencil one as well. So this was last month's stencil one. So you would then get 12.5% discount. And if you want to become a diamond member, and I know this is one of Barb's favorite designs, and you go for the stamp one, then you'll get 15% discount.
And this is a considerable stamp.
Yeah, because back in the day it was what you used to get one stamp.
I know, it's getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
But it's because for us, the subscriptions, the clubs, this is the Clarity family.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's the older, I mean, the stamp, how many years has that been going now?
30 odd years now.
Yeah.
So that's really another thing to consider joining.
Yeah. And we forgot to say that Sue's in the office. She is there to help you. She's there until we finish. But we're open Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. until 4:30 p.m. So if you've got any questions, or just go on social media. There's so many people on there that can help and really tell you the value. And
I know that I'm just showing you little bits, but we've done the white work from the back.
Yeah.
Now we're doing the perforating from the front.
Yeah.
And I'll just show you how it works. So we're going to go to the overhead, and then we'll come in really close. And I'm going to put on my Dame Edna's, which are my magnifiers. Yes, please. I mean, I can see it, but let it just.
Let's see.
And what we were going to do is use the other camera, shall we, so you can see it better.
There we go.
So if I come in here, you can see exactly, right, I'm going to use this area here. So I've decided where I'm going to perforate in this piece here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to, as I go through here, I'm going through the thin black foam. And I'm using a single needle bolt. And the only thing that you need to know is that you don't really want to perforate onto the lines. So if it's close to the line or it's on the line, just leave it. See how you build? Can you see that all right?
Let's go back to the overhead now. There we go. I'll flick backwards and forwards.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
So I have to go in perpendicular. I have to go in like this.
But the grid forces you to do that, though, doesn't it?
Does.
Because it gives you that perfect perforation.
And what you're doing is, I just want to get my head out of the way.
No, we're on the side camera.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So you see how you just go through, and you're using, I mean, could you use a 2 needle? Yeah, but why would you? I've watched the experts. I've watched Josie. She's like a sewing machine. I've never known anybody like it. You go, and you know, I can't go that fast. So I'm going to be careful. See, I don't want to get too close like that. But you're filling in the area. Look, it's so, I love doing this, and it's so easy. And the thin mat underneath, it just gives you, so when you go through, you're going to hit the hard mat. You can't go further than that. So you're going to get the same look of hole. Do you see?
Yeah.
If you come to the overhead now, you can see it. And it looks so beautiful. And that is what we've got there. That's exactly how
beautiful, isn't it?
We've ended up. Is that focusing, or is it my eyes?
It's focused. You've got the wrong glasses.
I've got the wrong glasses. I can't see. I can just about see the screen. Yeah, you see the holes there. So you've pushed it up with the white work, and then you've pushed it back down again with the perforating.
And the perforating makes the white work even more prominent, doesn't it?
And then the last thing I want to show is a little bit of cutting.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Of course it is.
So I just then basically we've done the whole thing. So let me just get my hat on.
Okay, let me bring some details on there, and I'm going to swap to the front camera.
And you're going to come out a little bit, so it's not.
Yeah, I'm going to go to there.
Thank you.
So we have the brand new French lace. Oh, that was motorbike. French lace midi groovy and plate mate collection with the A5 parchment, item number 42500 with double points. We have the stamps, brand new today, item number 12166. Double points, 10% saving already, bringing it down to $26.99. We have the toppers and tags, item number 31818, 10% saving, bringing it down to $8.99. If you want the starter kit, now this is very special. Double points, 42144. You have a £27.84 saving, bringing it down to £70.55 plus club discounts as well. We good to go?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to go 1, and then we'll go 2.
So one more step just to show you just the basics.
Okay.
So now let's say we want to cut this out.
Yeah.
And we want to cut the center out.
Okay.
So we've got that. That's where we're headed.
Yes.
So we want to cut this out, and we want to cut that out.
Okay.
Right. So to do that, I'm going to use the thin mat again and the hard one underneath.
Yeah.
So I don't go through.
Yeah.
But this time, I can't use the grid because it's irregular.
Yes.
Right. So because it's irregular, I have to go freehand. And to go freehand, I'm going to use a 2 needle bold tool.
Yeah.
Right. So it's the same as a 1 needle, except it's 2 needles. And this way you're going to get perfect pitch. Because what you do is you put the first one in the second one, first one in the second one. So let me show you.
So I'm going to swap to the side. There we go.
Right. And then what we're going to do, for example, is we're going to go not on the line, but you'll see I'm going really slowly.
So you're increasing by 1 perforation at a time.
Yeah. So as I'm going round, I'm putting the first needle back in the last hole.
Yeah.
And then I'm going round, and I'm taking my time, and I hold it, and then I don't stab it and then think, oh no, I was too close. But that's the truth, isn't it?
Yeah. And also if you stab it, you're not going to get the perfect perforation.
So I look where I want to go, and then I press it. And I look where I want to go, and then I press it. And then when I'm happy with where I am, then I'll turn the artwork. I find it easier to turn the artwork than me try and contort around the building.
It's meant to be enjoyable.
Yeah. So now I'm going to see. So what happens is as you get close, you don't want to get too close to the line. But you watch the experts do this. They whistle round. But I'm not an expert. So I just move the artwork round, and then I just go like so. So now let's say I'm going round. I'm getting faster because I'm getting my eye in now. And I will tell you that I've got a special pair of glasses on there that are proper magnified. So I'm going to go all the way around.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go on the inside as well.
Yeah.
So on the inside, see, it's hot. I want to make sure that I don't spoil my artwork. So
this is where the guard
comes
that
in.
extra benefit, doesn't it?
So now I'm going to start again, and I'm going to come in on the inside. So if I feel that I'm not close enough, then I just nudge up a little further, right? And I'll see. But this is where I would have a line and I'd be checking on a piece of scrap before I go to my masterpiece.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah, definitely.
So as you go round, you see, go like that, and then you come round the corner. The more you do this, the faster you get. But is it a race?
Because what happens is your hand gets into a rhythm, doesn't it, on
Yeah.
how far to move the tool each time.
Exactly. But is it a race?
No.
No, I don't think so.
It's all about the process and enjoying it.
Yeah.
Because if you race and you're just sort of stabbing away at the parchment, then that will be reflected when you come to do the picot cutting.
Exactly. So, and on that note, let's do some picot cutting. So this is all done at the front, the same as the perforating on the grid.
Overhead now.
So you can see.
Shall I zoom in?
Zoom in a little bit. So I've done a little bit here and a little bit in there. And the only thing that I feel I want to explain before we call it a day and let you go off to Wimbledon is...
Okay, no, I'm not going to Wimbledon. I wish.
Right, scissors. So we've got all different sorts of scissors. I just use these ones.
Yeah,
but we've got
exclusive.
They're the exclusive.
But we've also got the ring locks, and we also have
we've got the squizzers or the tweezer ones. Yeah. What do you call these?
I call them squizzers.
They're like those ones.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is item number 70042. Okay, and you also get a piece of picot foam in each of the scissors.
Which is what I'm cutting on.
And you get a handy guide
by Linda Williams.
So they're Barbara's scissors of choice, 70040. And then we have the ring lock, which are my weapon of choice, item number 70041.
And I can't get into mine, otherwise I might try them as well.
On the original.
Here.
There we go.
There you go. So I've got the original one. So that's my ring lock. See, so if you look at the difference there, you can see bigger fingers.
Bigger fingers for me.
Bigger fingers.
More comfortable.
Yeah, I like these because they're cheap.
We learnt by those, though, didn't we?
This is all there was.
Remember the videos we used to watch?
Oh dear. Right. So here, this is the only thing. Right. Let me get my health and safety. This is the only thing, and then we'll let you go. When you're cutting, right? This is how Linda taught me.
Yeah.
I'm going like a spoon rather than like that.
Yeah.
Right. So hold it like that. Thumb in there.
Yeah.
Then I put that finger in there, and I use those fingers to control.
Yeah.
Right now, personally, I tend to hold the artwork, and then I bring it to me. See, like so. And what I'm doing now is I'm holding the scissors over the bit that's going to fall away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over the waist.
Over the waist. So as I'm going round, if I want to, I could put my finger underneath. This is how I felt when I started. I could put my finger underneath and I could feel the tips in those holes, right? And then you just switch over, and then you just come round and you get a little, you can see before you snip, you should be able to see the little V. Can you see this all right, Paul?
I'm going to try coming in one more. I mean, you can see overall, I'm going to zoom in really close. We'll just let that focus. There we go.
So when I go in like that, see, I can snip like that. But often people put it down on the counter, right? I'm going to put my finger there because that gives me a bit more control when I lean over.
Yeah.
So I put my finger there, and then my head's not in the way, is it?
No, you're all clear. See, I learned the same way as you did. Well, we learned at the same time, didn't we?
Yeah.
In the hand. And that gave me good guidance for how far, because it's literally just the tips of these scissors, isn't it? And if you go in too far, then obviously you know about it.
But when you use, I'll just do this last little bit. So you just go in, and what you're doing is going into the hole that you did before, into the hole you did before, into the hole you did before. Make the artwork come to you, so you turn the artwork. So if I now, for example, if I take a pair of scissors, have we got a pair of
I've got one in my slowdown box with my rub-ons.
Oh, well done.
There we go.
I'll just cut. See, all the time I was doing this, while I want to cut the middle bit out.
Yeah.
So I'm holding the scissors over the waist.
Yes.
You'll hear people say that, and you don't really understand what they mean until, if I were to cut it out this way, then this bit would be what I would end up with. It looks like dogs had it.
Yeah.
So if I come in here, let me just cut this away, because this is the waist, right? And if I cut this out like that, so then you can see where I've cut it. Do you see that's the bit?
Yeah.
So I can continue doing that, right? So you're cutting, and that's the bit you snip away. So if your Picos, your beautiful Vs, are looking like that, first question you've got to ask yourself is, are you holding the scissors over the waist
or
over your artwork? And so now, this is the next question. If I'm doing the outside bit, which would be the last thing I do, right? Then obviously, if I hold it like this, you know I'm holding it over the wrong side. The bit that's going to
be thrown away is going to have the Pico on it. Yeah.
So I've got to hold it over this here. Get my Dame Edna's on again, right? And then now let's just look one more time. I'm going in there. I put my finger on there so I can see where that controls how much I lean over. Because, like you say, Paul, we taught ourselves to do it in our hand, didn't we?
Yeah, because for me, it gauged how far this point of the scissors went in. Because if you go in too far, all it does is that the blade actually cuts. It doesn't snip, it cuts.
Yeah.
So that gave me a really good way of learning my Pico cutting. And now, just for comfort and ease, I do it on the flat like you're doing now.
Yeah, I'm more
You're
of
a hand person,
I am,
aren't you?
and I think that's because of doing videos and doing TV. I always offered up the artwork to the cameraman. Wait, see, too deep. So don't snip then, because then you can still pull out.
And if you feel when you go in with the scissors and you're getting resistance when you try to snip, it means you're trying to cut the black foam underneath.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, if you get loads of little black bits coming, then you might be digging a bit too deep.
Yeah.
But now if I just come round, and once you see, I find I'm faster when I'm holding it in my hand. I'm much faster than this. But this works really well.
It does.
So if I take this now, just to show you, take that away, and we'll just take this away. I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert. But I pride myself on my cutting. Look, so that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And
it's
when
little triangles, isn't it?
It's those tiny little Picos. And do you know what? It's not that hard. It's not that hard. But the whole point is that you hold the scissors over the bit you're gonna throw away. You throw it over that bit, you hold it over that bit, and you hold it over that bit. Not
so in
over
a way,
the artwork.
The point of the scissors are pointing towards your artwork.
Always pointing towards the artwork. Yeah. So that's it really. I think in a nutshell, we've done the line art and the white work.
Yeah.
We've done the
you've done some perforating
with the grid.
Yeah.
And then we've done the two needle loose, like freehand. And then we've done the Pico cutting. So we've done all the core essential skill sets.
Except for colouring.
Yeah.
But when you look at the artwork, to me, that French lace it doesn't require colour. That is the beauty of it, isn't it?
And this was the beautiful piece that we were working towards. And you can see exactly how, now you look at, you look at that and you can see exactly how we've arrived there, can't you? So thank you very much for joining us. I'm off the hook.
Off on Holly Bobs with Sam Crow.
Yeah, got to repack my suitcase again one more time, just to be sure.
So I'm staying to keep you company during the 10 days of celebrations. So I'll be back with you tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Louise is with you for Groovi Tuesday again at 10 o'clock on Tuesday morning. Then we'll be back together at 2 o'clock on Tuesday. Then I'm going to do something special on Thursday, 10 at 10. So tune in for that. And then I'll be heading up to Hobby Maker for the launch of a brand new plate from Tina Cox. And that's at 1 o'clock and 5 o'clock on Hobby Maker as well.
So thank you so much, Paul, for holding the fort with Dave in my absence.
You're more than welcome. I'm saying that now.
I'm not taking my phone or my iPad, I've decided.
As always, thanks to the lovely Grace for helping out. It's a shame we don't see the chat, but it would probably be a distraction anyway.
That's okay. A huge thanks to everybody that supported us over the last 10 years, to the design team here. It's teamwork that makes the dream work. The design team, the sample makers, Jazz, Jim, you know, Dave, the maker on the machines. You know,
Tool Caddy,
yeah, he's downstairs gluing up tool caddies. So yeah, teamwork makes the dream work. Thank you so much. And don't forget the golden ticket every day will be announced at 10 o'clock the following day. So we'll pick someone at random tomorrow. So check out the social pages tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Thanks very much for joining us. Have a lovely rest of your Sunday. Stay cool.
Stop raining now.
Stop raining now. Lots of love.
Take care. Bye-bye.